We know incidents about players cheating. It's the classic meme going around the world that Germans are all cheaters. But this time something more strange happened, and it was once more the German scene. On the final day of the ESL Meisterschaft Winter season 2017, Euronics played against Divizon. Euronics was missing a single point to actually get through, go to the finals, play on LAN on the big stage there in Stuttgart, and show everyone what they can do. Shortly before the game started, those guys from Euronics got information. They got a message that the opponent team knows everything, every single strat, and not through a more likely legal way. Teams can easily download demos over HLTV, for example. You can just take a look at them, see how your team plays and how your opponent is going to perform, and you're good. That's very simple. I'm gonna take a look back in time because it all goes down before that Euronics roster existed in that way. A Planetkey Dynamics player called Johnny gave access to those FTP servers to Divizon, to especially Skrunk. Some sources outside the team say, and that can't be really confirmed, that Skrunk has a bad relationship to those Euronics players. Because Cressy, Syken, Light, and Skrunk should have played under any organization's name, just with a +1, whoever would fit in. But in the end, that didn't happen. Cressy and Syken joined Euronics, Skrunk went over to the side of Divizon, and in the end, some people say Skrunk was not really happy about them and actually has some problems with those two Euronics players, Cressy and Syken. So Johnny gave them access to the FTP server for the following simple reason. If those guys from Euronics would have picked a single point, a single map, a tie, whatever it is, they would have gotten into the ESL Meisterschaft finals. Planetkey Dynamics, they needed their opponent to lose to be able to get there on the big stage in Stuttgart. The FTP server information was actually easy to access for Johnny, because he was often as a friend in the TeamSpeak of Euronics, played with those guys, and in the TeamSpeak, every user somehow could see those FTP login data. That was a mistake from the Euronics management, of course, but he abused that certain situation in his favor. From then on, when Johnny got himself that information, okay, I have now the FTP login data, Skrunk, do you want it? And Skrunk then said, yes, I will take it, to do Planetkey the favor and to get some kind of personal revenge. He downloaded then multiple demos. The IP from Skrunk, as well as those multiple downloaded demos a few days before the game, are exactly the same, and in the end, that is an obvious evidence. So as things went, Euronics realized their opponent knows their strategies. The demos and the VODs you can take a look at, and that will be linked in the description. You actually see how somehow they have a really good clue. Sources say that the entire confidence of Euronics was down after they realized their opponent knows everything. They lost a couple in the following up map as well, so Euronics didn't make it into the finals, and in the end it was Divizon coming in with a 2-0 victory. Planetkey Dynamics stayed at the place they were and also made it into the finals. As the days have passed, there was suddenly information and leaks coming towards the players of Divizon as well as Planetkey Dynamics. A guy called Troubler actually released information on Twitter, said that that shouldn't be really happening, it's a shame for the German scene, and everyone was kind of surprised. No one gave a statement yet, and it seemed to be known for quite a while. At least the players from Divizon, every one of them, besides Skrunk, and also those guys from Planetkey, besides Johnny, knew about the incident. This is also stated in a tweet from one of the players of PKD, where he says, we knew about it, we didn't state it though, we didn't say anything about it, because logically you don't want to look like a traitor to your team, though it's quite the immoral thing, from my point of view. And as it got published, the ESL had to react to it. And how do you react to an incident that is not in your rulebook? There's no one stated, okay, FTP server access, they downloaded all the demos and got just some information they should have never gotten. How do you react to that? 6% of the prize pool has been reduced, so it was just a tiny bit. Divizon had now less from what they actually have gathered. The crucial part comes now though, as Divizon then reached the semi-final at the ESL Meisterschaft and then also the final against Alternate Attacks. That meant that they only got those 6% reduced, but an ESEA Mountain Dew League Europe spot. They're allowed to play for that one of the most reputable international leagues and are even able to just go one stage up and say, I want to go ESL Pro League. Hard to imagine, of course, but still. Due to that incident and due to that certain victory, which we can call not 100% fair, they got themselves in such a favorable situation. They are not punished for that. that they did such a thing, that they actually kind of abused information they should have never gotten and now got themselves an MDL spot for free. What is not really mentioned is that Skrunk and Johnny actively risked jobs by doing that. Euronics maybe would have never won. We never know if the FTP information gave Divizon a major advantage, a minor advantage, or any at all. We are not 100% certain. The problem is though that it has some influence. It has some bad taste left in our mouth. And what you have to say, Euronics, that is a team that is majorly supported by their sponsors. They rely on that. And the ESL Meisterschaft is what some sources say one of the biggest goals for that Euronics team. You're actively risking jobs by getting yourself an unfair advantage and advancing into the finals, and you don't really care about it. Skrunk and Divizon did their statements, they said sorry. Skrunk especially mentioned in that quite often that he is really sorry for what he did. He knows that it was wrong, and that's all fine. We have to somehow forgive, right? We cannot always blame him. On the other hand, this guy is an adult, he knows the professional scene, and I'm not believing that he's not 100% certain what happened with such action. He knows those players, he knows those guys, and he knows what happens in such a situation. And he did it anyway. And that's what some people just forgive. The German scene is all right now about, forget about it, everyone has talked about it, it's good, it's fine. From my personal point of view, that's just something you can't easily forgive, and especially not forget about. You risk jobs, you get yourself a spot, not 100% fair, and people are just not talking about it anymore. ESL has a little bit of uncertain and unfortunate position, because what shall you do about such a situation, as you barely know anything about it. You don't have stated information, you don't have facts all the time. You just got some people saying this, some people saying that. The FTP information is 100% confirmed, that Skrunk downloaded that. But still, hard to really react to it. In the end, we gotta see what happened. Divizon got themselves now a spot in the MDL. If it's fair, we can argue about that. If it's really 100% deserved, the Planetkey Dynamics even made in the ESL Meisterschaft finals, we can argue about that. We just gotta see that this does not happen anymore in the future.